I am the #1 NieR replicant dick rider, and not a single soul on this planet can take that title away from me. Yoko Taro is one of the sexiest men to have ever graced this planet, and I mean, just look at him. He is the ingenious mind behind the Drakengard games, NieR Replicant, and NieR Automata. This game was a disappointment. The story, the characters, man, I really want to like this game's narrative, but I genuinely just can't. People, generally speaking, really like this game's narrative, and those people might say something along the lines of, you probably just don't get it, which is fair, but you know, keep in mind, I played this game twice, start to finish, all the endings, and I have over 70 hours on the game, and I do feel like I have a pretty good grasp on what the game is trying to say, the story it's trying to tell. But alright, let me slow it down a little bit. Why do I have over 70 hours on this game? Plot, characters, the game's message, put all that shit aside, alright? Playing NieR Automata is the equivalent of stepping into a painting. The multiple tones that this game gives off makes it the closest thing you can get to just actually stepping into the world itself. With the current technology that game devs have at their disposal, this is peak emergent. It does not get any better than this. Tones ranging from prosperity to tragedy, hope to despair, funny to stagnant. It hits all of these individual unique tones perfectly without taking away from another. In my first playthrough of this game, I reached one of the many early joke endings scattered throughout the game, and I instantly knew that this game would be right up my alley. Despite how serious the opening sequence for this game was, the first funny ending did so much more than just be funny. It set the tone for the entire game. This is a serious game that doesn't take itself too seriously. I was over the moon at the fact that I found a game that clicked with me, a game that spoke my language. Then I played for a good bit, I reached the second ending, and it's all downhill from there. All that I mentioned about tone, how the game clicked with me, is all out the window now. It felt like getting cucked on your second day of marriage. I was tricked, bamboozled, and played like a damn fiddle. Comparing this game to NieR Replicant is only a given, as NieR Automata borrows a lot from this game. I made a video on this game, so you should, check it out. But alright, to summarize, it's my favorite game of all time. As much as it pains me to say this, NieR Automata does certain things much better than NieR Replicant. Combat and side quests are much more fleshed out in this game as opposed to the last one, with the exception of playing as 9S. Source? My ass. Fuck this character. Legitimately one of the worst characters in any form of medium. 9S is a whole ass video that I'm too lazy to make, so I won't touch on him. To keep things short, combat, gameplay, music, exploration, all of these aspects are top tier in both games. The side quests do an incredible job in terms of showing rather than telling what would a world that has gone to shit look like. The game explores topics like free will, consciousness, racism, and how some humans are just dumb. Real. I know this is a gross oversimplification of what the game is trying to say, but just hear me out. The main story does a lot of telling and not nearly enough showing, especially in the later half of the game. Alright, what do I mean by showing and telling? The side quests showcase what a world overrun by machines would look like, what it's like interacting with said world. Interacting with the various NPCs throughout the game gives us some insight on what it's like to be an inhabitant of this world, whether android or machine. In my first playthrough of this game, I absolutely hated the main story, but I loved pretty much every single other aspect that this game had going for it. So in my second playthrough, I ignored the main story and focused more on the side quests. And oh boy, I'm so thankful that I decided to do that. Robots and the idea of suicide, androids with amnesia functions built in that serve as an execution unit for other units that go rogue. The amnesia function basically erases the android's memory of killing their close friends, the cruelty of humans in giving androids free will and emotions. All of these topics are curious, they are fun to explore, but at the same time depressing as hell, man, I gotta say. But all around, I got to feel that incredible tone consistency that I got to feel at the start of the game. I no longer felt betrayed, and I was so glad that I decided to give the game a second chance. The game did not need 5 endings, and the last 3 endings especially felt extremely forced. It was like they remembered all of a sudden, oh yeah, we actually need to wrap this game up. I found the sad scenes in the main story to be more funny than sad or impactful. But here's the thing, the game is more than capable of expressing those sad undertones behind the world's setting and characters that inhabit them. Characters die all throughout the game. I personally don't give a shit if a raging racist and a Reddit dweller were to be offed in the story, but Pascal is hands down the best written character in the whole game. Pascal is a machine that gained a sense of consciousness, a free will, and despite the crushing weight of being programmed by his creators in order to be a tool of war, he escapes from the clutches of that future and shapes his own identity by himself. He educates himself on things like philosophy, human ideology, and religion, and passes all those things to like-minded anti-war robots that exhibit human behavior, as their leader. One day, his village is invaded and all the robots under his care decide to kill themselves because of fear, a concept that Pascal taught them. The guilt bears too heavy on him and then you as a player are prompted to decide his fate. Do you erase his memories or do you kill him? So why then? Why does the game feel tone deaf all throughout the main story, when it's perfectly capable of explicitly depicting how a character feels at a given moment? I don't know, dog. Sexy robot game, goes hard, 8 out of 10. Please don't hang me for my takes. I'll see you fellas later.